Sit back, relax a little bit. Let me tell you a story. See if yours is anything like mine. Remember when I was a kid? So much better when I popped the lid. Feel the rabble, open it up.
Exactly, listen to Shiny. Right, and Cash Out's the easy way to get money transferred when you're out with friends. So, jump into that and then we'll get back to it.
He said, baby, jump in the back, boy. Tailgate crazy.
Tailgate crazy, man. What's going on, everyone? It's your bus driver. I'm Cedric Green. And welcome to Fantasy Football Reports on Shady Sports Network. Week 16. We got the Week 16 preview, man. We're in the thick of it. A lot of people are on, the first round of the playoffs. A lot of people are in the second round of the playoffs. Some people are in the championships. Kind of crazy. But yeah, we got, it's just me tonight. So I'll probably just, kind of go through the injury reports. If you have any questions, go ahead and get them in. You know how it's done around here on the bandwagon. Keep it rolling, whether it's me, whether it's 30 people, we'll just keep it going. I know the guys, Justin has some things going on, and maybe Shawnee will be joining us. But either way, we got week 16 that we're going into. So we got the preview, some pretty big matchups. A lot of us are starting their playoffs. I know I started my playoffs last week. Some letdowns last week. It wasn't the most fun of ways to start playoffs, right? I know Tyreek Hill kind of let me down. I was dependent on Drake London. Maybe that was my fault for depending on those guys. But anyway, quick rundown tonight's show. So like I said, we'll get into some injury reports, waiver wire ads. It's, I'll preview probably, the Broncos game at least. And we'll just kind of, keep it simple tonight. Keep it easy. So if you got any questions, you could just go ahead and get those questions in. I'm happy to answer those, or comments or whatever you want to join in. Let me know. But those of you tuning in, thank you for tuning in again. This is Shady Sports, or Fantasy Football Reports on Shady Sports Network on the Mile High Bandwagon. So let's take a ride, man. Like he said, hop on the tailgate. So yeah, so just to jump into it. So let's see. We got some injuries. Let me pull them up. Usually I'm not by myself, so here we are. We are here. Usually I have time to get this pulled up while we talk other stuff, but let's see. Okay, so we got the injury report for week 16. Patrick Mahomes, first and foremost, right? Ankle injury. He went out on Christmas Day late in that game. I think in the fourth quarter. But anyway, or not, I don't know, I said Christmas Day last week. He went down in the fourth quarter with the ankle injury. So he's considered week to week. It's a mid-high ankle sprain. So we'll see how it goes if he's back this weekend for the Christmas Day game, or if he's going to be out for a while just to go into the playoffs. Jalen Hurts has a finger injury. A broken finger on his left hand. So, I mean, he still went out and threw almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. So he went off, but he does have a finger injury that he's dealing with. So, those of you guys that are, I don't know how many people were planning to start Pat Mahomes, unless maybe you just picked Pat Mahomes and know the quarterback. But there was quite a bit of people that I feel like we're starting Jalen Hurts. So keep an eye on that. It didn't change anything last week. So, but I don't think it'll change anything going forward. But he does have that finger injury. Geno Smith, he went down in the game while we were on air on Sunday night. Shawnee reported it. But yeah, Geno Smith went down with the knee injury. Mike McDonald said everything was structurally okay. He's been texting Geno Smith. So I'd say if you're playing Geno Smith, he was playing pretty good. So you probably had a few people out there playing him. So keep following that, or maybe look to alternatives. You probably have an alternative anyway. Yeah. Tommy DeVito was knocked out with a concussion. I don't know how many people had him starting, especially in the playoffs. Alvin Kamara he has an injury, a groin injury that he sustained in the game as well. They're saying he'll be back. Coach Rizzi said he sure will be back, but it is a groin abductor injury. So we'll follow that throughout the week. I think usually around Wednesday, Thursday, when you really start hearing updates on these injuries. So I'd say just keep an eye on that. You probably got him started. David Montgomery, man, out for the season. One half of Sonic and Knuckles, the Knuckles half, and man, it's a loss. Especially like if you had him, a lot of people, I had him and Jamar Gibbs, I was using both of them. So that's definitely a big loss for my team, for the Lions going into the playoffs, as if they needed another injury, right? That sucks. Tony Pollard re-aggravated his ankle in week 15. So we saw Tajee Spears kind of take over. So I know a lot of people had Tony Pollard as one of their, one or two running backs. He's been holding it down. So maybe look in other areas. Running back's a little slim right now, but there may be some waiver wire ads that you can pick up, and we'll get to those here in a little bit, right? Nick Chubb went out, broke his foot, out for the season. It sucks. He just got back from that injury. So from the other injury. So looks like he's ending the season and early again for 2 years in a row. So, running backs just kind of can't stay in the game, man. Same this other one, Jaleel McLaughlin. This one hits close to home, right? Maybe now Sean Payton will have to use Estime, right? Maybe he'll be forced to use Estime. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Jaleel McLaughlin has a quad injury. He did not practice on Monday. We'll see what happens. I'll have to pull that up and see. We got a short week coming back on Thursday night, so not a whole lot. We'll see how that goes. We got Shawnee joining in, so we'll take a promo break really quick. For those of you that are tuning in, thank you for tuning in. You're watching Fantasy Football Reports on Shady Sports Network. When we come back, we'll have Shawnee joining us too. Getting a little perked up, right? I guess I'm a little down, but we'll come back and we'll get into it. So here we go. Where are we at, man? There we go.
Good luck, everyone here. Oh my Lord, who is this? Joe Burrow! Joe Burrow! AFC North smoked it right here, baby. Fanatics, authenticated Joe Burrow on the speed, incredible hit, going to Alpha Wolf. Congratulations, Alpha.
Yes, y'all. That was Breaks GPT. What up, Shawnee?
What's going on? How are you, bud?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Well,
awesome.
Thank you.
Definitely. Just kind of going through some injuries right now.
Your phone plugged in so it doesn't die on us here in the middle of what we're doing.
There you go.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that was it, guys, for the running backs. That I can see. I'll once I hop in the sleeper, I'll see if there's any other ones that I missed. Going on to the receivers, though, Jalen Waddle.
Technical difficulties
early in the game. That's okay, Shawnee. Jalen Waddle left early in the game. They're saying Mike McDaniel's saying it wasn't major, no surgery, but he is questionable for the week, so he's day to day. So who knows what he's looking like week 16. I imagine if you were starting him, you're probably looking somewhere else, somewhere a little bit more definite, especially as you move deeper into the playoffs. So if you happen to have him and you moved on, you're probably not using him. Good there, Shawnee?
Yep, I'm all good. Okay. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, man, just kind of going through these injuries. So another one, you got Xavier Legette. I don't know how relevant that is fantasy-wise.
He has hit or miss weeks, so yeah. I mean, if you're in a deep league like Dynasty or you're dealing with injury, he's someone you might have plugged in, but I mean, chances are you got somebody of a little better caliber, hopefully, that you can get in there instead of him.
What do you think about the Jalen Hurts injury?
Honestly,
are you concerned?
I didn't hear anything about that. Now that I am.
Well, yeah, he had it last week too.
I don't know. Last I heard, that he's still planning on playing. But I mean, yeah, obviously it's a concern with how mobile of a quarterback he is and the brotherly shove. I mean, he's got to be mobile to make the moves that he makes. So yeah, what injury is it?
He has a broken ring finger on his left hand, so it's non-throwing.
See, now if it was something knee or hamstring or foot related, I'd be, oh yeah, I do remember them saying he did have a like something on his finger last week before the game had started. I don't think he re-agitated it. So if the way he played last week, I guess against the Steelers, is any indication of how he's able to play, it wasn't like the most go-off show game, but he was mobile. He was throwing touchdown passes. They did do the brotherly shove for a score and for first down. So I don't think I'm concerned going in.
Yeah.
Definitely one to monitor, though.
Yeah, I mean, keep an eye on, just because, like you said, it's not as big as maybe some other injuries, but, I mean, nonetheless, it's still something that could affect, I don't know, could have some effect on the game.
Yeah, I don't know do you know if Kirk Cousins is injured? Or because I just got a notification that they're benching him.
Oh, they're benching him for Michael Penix.
Yeah, we're gonna see some rookie action at the QB position this week.
Well, yeah, now that they probably feel like they're not gonna make the playoffs, so there's no point.
Yeah, they're preserving him. But I mean, do you think that are they gonna, that concerns me for Bijan's production and Drake London and there's a lot of their defense, not so much, but there's a lot of guys that really are fantasy relevant that depend on, the skill of Kirk Cousins, not Michael Penix to, week 16 is not a week where you want to gamble. So that's one I'm scared about, but
yeah, no, we'll see how it is. It's not an injury. No injuries talked about, no injuries listed. They just feel like they want to see what Penix has.
Right. Yeah. Did you already said Chubb, right?
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Nick Chubb breaking his foot. Is he someone you think, people were, Tony Pollard too. There's two running backs. I feel like that probably has some impact in the playoffs.
Yeah, I had Chubb, and I actually was depending on him in a couple, but I mean, Jerome Ford is a guy that can definitely step up and take that position over and do well. We watched him do it all season. Definitely relevant. And hopefully you held on to that handcuff. If not, I have seen him on some waiver wires, and if you're worried about him, I've seen Pierre Strong. I don't think he's going to be any type of relevant, but if you're in deep leagues, I've seen him on the wire too. But yeah, man, it just sucks for Chubb because, coming off that injury from the Steeler game last season, you had him coming back. They were trying to ease him into it, and to see him get injured again, it's just, I feel bad for him.
Yeah. It sucks not being able to finish out injuries, and I mean, it sucks they're in a bad position too. It's like, damn, can't even help them. Right. At least they're not missing anything though. But Tony Pollard though, you think Tajay Spears is a good start if maybe you had Tony Pollard?
Well, so I read about this one, and I saw that Pollard went out, but now he doesn't even have any type of injury designation. He's not even questionable going in. I don't know if that means that they're going to give him the split or not. I think Spears is one of those guys who's kind of always in the mix a little bit, maybe probably more so now that they might be monitoring Tony Pollard. But I know Pollard, I mean, dude, he was at 8.2 when he went out, and that was in the beginning of the second quarter. He was paced to put up some big numbers there. If he's healthy and good to go, I'm still rolling with him, but definitely a higher stake in Tajay Spears this week compared to others, just because they probably will limit Pollard a little bit more just to try and preserve that energy and just keep an eye on him. So yeah, Spears is definitely a guy I would definitely consider being RB3 flex material.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean with the injury, I didn't really see too many other ones. I felt like Jaleel McLaughlin, but I mean you're not starting any Broncos. Running backs. Pat Surtain looks like he's gonna be good. He would have
They
been a
need
full
that.
participant. Yeah, if they had practiced, he would have been in there. Riley
That's a
Moss
big divisional game during
mm-hmm.
prime time, so
and a
it's
quick
going to be
turnaround.
huge game.
Mm-hmm. Alec Pierce went out with a concussion.
Okay, so he's in protocol. That
Yeah.
means that you can probably fire up Pittman, even though you probably were already, but you can fire him up with a bit more confidence. Especially, Richardson's been showing a little bit better signs as of late. He's still not rock solid, but still a little bit better. So yeah, with Pierce, Pierce is always that guy who was like the deep threat, and he could go goose egg all the way through third and fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden it's like a 63-yard touchdown pass, and that one play makes him good to go, and then maybe a couple other, but yeah, Pittman definitely got more value now going in, which is definitely a good thing. But yeah, if he's in protocol, I don't know if he's going to clear this week. Another one to monitor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely one to monitor. I feel like a couple people had him. He was like the bright spot on that team, even with them having Jonathan Taylor, who has been kind of not the best these past few weeks.
Right, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was
man.
funny.
So go ahead.
I saw this thing. The head coach at Indy, these guys were like, what the hell are you thinking? You can't even complete 40% of your passes. And then against one of the best defenses in the NFL, you think you complete 3 passes in one play on that interception where they did that, little pass back across the field.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, it was hilarious. These guys were laughing. He's like, oh, man, he's putting parlays together. That would have been like a plus 1,600 right there. They're dogging him hard, but it was funny as hell.
Yeah. So, let me see. Guess we can kind of. Well, you said you had some IDP players, right?
Yeah, just some
on.
IDP players to monitor going forward. Dynasty. A lot of times IDP doesn't get talked about very much, and in Dynasty formats, this is like the make or break it time of league where you're trying to get 40 plus out of your guys.
Mm-hmm.
Queen going forward with the division games that he has, I just wanted to put a highlight on him. Spillane is down for me with Vegas. He was consistently scoring high, but now he's just dropping weekly. Kendricks is okay, but not as great as he was. And then Aluakon, he was like the most phenomenal linebacker, and then decided to move him around and kind of screw with the position a little bit and the way that Jacksonville's been playing. He went from like a guaranteed 50-point a game guy to like scoring in the teens. So it's rough. You want to put your faith in a guy like that, but not necessarily able to. And then you got Demario Davis from the Saints. He's coming off like depending on format, anywhere from 59 to 62-point game for New Orleans, and that's huge. And he's putting up consistent numbers in the 40s, so I think he's a must start. Also, Zach Bond had a little bit down game because that Philly and Steeler game was just like a battle. This next week coming back, I think he's going to return to true form, and he's going to show everybody what's up again. And I mean, you watch like let's see, Ellish and like the guys from Atlanta, they're putting up big numbers too, so they're definite must starts. Anybody in the 50s is good to go for me, obviously. And then Chase, I think Christian Roseboom for LA. Is a guy who has been consistently up there, and he's a guy that might be available on wires to grab. So if you can grab him off waivers, I would for sure. And now with Watt, if he's going to miss time, that takes Hayward's stock up. So you can probably depend on him a little bit more. And as far as defensive backs goes, Metellus from the Vikings has stepped up as almost the lead tackler the last almost 3 weeks in a row. Kirby Joseph, I'm down on. And let's see who else. Oh, Buddha. Baker, obviously up on. And did I? Oh, and Alontae Taylor from New Orleans, I'm down on. He started out the season real strong, but now he's back down into the teens, sometimes single digits. I think that they've divided up that workload enough that he's not really relevant anymore. So there's lots of other options out there at D-back. There's lots of injuries, so lots of guys are stepping up, like the rookie Liafu that they drafted in Dallas this season with Overshown out. He's stepping up and getting into the mix. I think he had 25 to 35 this past week, but it made Kendricks go down a little bit. That's how much he's involved. And he was really, really adamant about like punching balls and trying to force fumbles and quarterback pressures. So he's definitely someone to monitor and keep on your team, especially in keeper leagues. He's someone that you're going to want to keep over the next couple of seasons because they signed that boy for a reason. He's going to get some big money from Dallas, and he's going to end up being in that green dot situation if Kendricks ends up going anywhere or, Overshown. But I think that they invested in him, so he's someone to keep. But as far as IDP goes, guys, do your research. And the one thing you want to look for is just under their game log, make sure that these guys are playing as close to 100% of the snaps as you can. If you monitor that and you look at the average, the guys who play 100% of snaps are the guys that are out there usually in the green dot position or, the inside linebacker or on the edge rushing. And these are the guys that, you're going to want to grab and you're going to want to start consistently every week to get you that championship.
There you go. Hey, let's take a promo really quick, and then when we come back, speaking of getting to that championship, I want to talk into how you approach sitting your lineup. So
absolutely,
we'll touch on that. We'll take a little 30-second promo, guys. All you guys that just tuned in, seems like we had quite a bit of people just jump on over there on the X page. Shout you guys out. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to hit that like button, and then head over to our YouTube page and check out Shady Sports Network for more. But we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And please share and hit that like button.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Guys, just tuning in. It's Fantasy Football Reports on Shady Sports Network. I'm your bus driver, Cedric Green. And then we got my co-pilot, Shawnee, today. We haven't had Shawnee in a while. Black and gold fantasy daddy out there getting it done. So, Shawnee, I was just wondering, as we go into the playoffs, everything shrinks down. What are you looking for when you have a couple of players that you want to start and you don't know who to start? What are some things? I know you, like with the IDP, you said you're looking at the snap count. What are you looking for with your offensive players?
Oh my gosh, man, this one's kind of rough because a prime example is the league that you and I are in. It's a smaller league, so it's an 18 league, and in 18 leagues that are smaller like that, the more talent you're going to have on your roster and on your bench, just because there's so many more people to pick from. So in this scenario, I mean, I have guys like Garrett Wilson and George Pickens and Brian Robinson Jr. on my bench because I got JSN and Nico Collins starting at my wide receiver positions because they've been the most consistent and the most nasty. And usually I like to bounce around my flex a little bit, but I got Bijan Robinson and I have Chase Brown as my starting RB1 and 2. My starting quarterback is Josh Allen. So, I mean, God, got amazingly lucky there over the past couple of weeks. And, we do a linebacker and an independent linebacker in that league, and I have Roquan Smith and Eric Kendricks on my bench, both guys who have been kind of average this season but still put up big numbers every now and again. It's a little harder when you only have one to choose from, but, man, you really want to look at matchup. And this time of year, like take the Atlanta situation, for example, now if I had Drake London and and Garrett Wilson, now I know Garrett Wilson is the guaranteed starter because they're going to bench Kirk Cousins. You got to look around. You got to definitely see who they're playing. You got to feel out the quarterback and how they've been doing the past couple of weeks. Big decision factor for me is if it's a divisional matchup, because most of the time in divisional matchups, it ends up just being that all-out war. It's the one that you can kind of count on them playing their hearts out, so you get the best possible performance in that situation. But you got to look through, and obviously rankings have a good bit to do with it going into it. What they've been putting up consistently, and honestly, I'll give that last 10% just the feeling that you have and getting lucky. Sometimes you just have that feeling on this guy and ready to go. Against you last week, I should have benched Brian Robinson Jr. and started Garrett Wilson, but I thought that Brian Robinson had the better matchup, but he ended up having a lot slower game and only scoring 11 points compared to Garrett Wilson's, I think, 14 or 16, something like that. But overall, I think at this point, you know who your ride or dies are, and that's who you go with. But take, for example, you have a guy like Tyreek Hill, who is super talented, but only has 4 touchdowns and hasn't put up the numbers. And Tua was injured for a while. That took away. Now Waddle hurt and they're still not eating. You're watching these guys that you don't even know their names, didn't even know they were on the team, and they're getting more work than him. So there's a couple other situations like that, throughout the league, guys that you depend on to be a 20-plus point scorer weekly that's not doing it. I think at this point, it's safe to say that you got to stop putting your hope and faith in that. And because I think they're, they know they're not playoff bound. I don't think they're speeding up things. They're probably just going back to fundamentals. It's not going to be all out war. So I think if you got a better situation, or, even guys like Jacoby Myers and, there's lots of little, like, Brian Thomas Jr. There's all these little, like, secret hitters that are doing absolutely phenomenal that I think are in a way better position and way higher scoring, way higher ceiling than Tyreek Hill. And it sucks because that's a guy you spend a high draft pick on, but at this point you're trying to win. So, if you're in a position where a guy's not getting you consistently what you want weekly and you're watching this guy on your bench go off, I think now it's time to pull that trigger.
So,
definitely.
What about if you have a guy like a Cooper Kupp, or heck, even like a Najee Harris or Darnell Mooney? Like Cooper Kupp and Darnell Mooney both got you zeros last week. Najee Harris only got 3.1. If you did happen to squeak by on the strength of the rest of your team having these guys, are you playing these guys again next week?
Man,
this week, I guess.
That's such a rough one. That's a really rough one. That's why, and I can honestly say that's why I don't have stock in these guys, because I don't like their quarterback situation and I don't like their numbers. So they're guys that when I look in the draft, I'll go elsewhere. But in the situation where you do have them, obviously if you have somebody better to plug into that situation, but like I said too, take a look at their matchup and see how many points and touchdowns their secondary allows, to opposing players, to opposing teams. And if those numbers are stacked against them or their numbers are stacked in favor of, then you kind of got to go by that. We have enough eye test and we have enough averages and, snap count, and we have enough numbers now where you can use those as a factor for sure. You can kind of go with what you see. So I think that's a big factor, but oh man, it's like a Dunze and more. It's like, oh man, sometimes these guys run these 2 receiver, even 1 receiver sets, and they got 3 mouths to feed, like the Bears. Keenan Allen got all of it, DJ Moore got a little, and then Dunze couldn't pull anything in. but it's still like he's talented, but you're the third guy out now. So you got to bench him and you got to just put all your faith in Keenan Allen and DJ Moore like as a flex. But I would say that Mooney, London, and Najee, well, I think
and Cup.
And Cup. Well, Cup is the one guy in that situation who I feel like I would still start.
You would still start Cup?
Yeah.
What if you started Cup? What if you started Cup and you had a Devontae Adams on your bench because he's been inconsistent?
God,
are you switching Cup out for Adams?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. Yeah, for sure. And
even though it
like
could
I
be
said,
inconsistent again.
Like if you have McLaurin on your bench, or you have JSN on your bench, or Brian Thomas Jr., or like Jacoby Myers on your bench, like of course plug them in. Mm-hmm. These are guys with 15-point floors and 30-point ceilings. They've just been ride or die underdogs, and they have sure quarterbacks, So if you have the situation where you can do better, do it. You know what I mean? But if you don't, and you got to put that faith in, you just got to do it and be 100% sure about it. You can't be flaky about it.
Yeah. Let me see what else to get. Yeah, it's crazy that they bench Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I guess they're just trying to keep him healthy. Preserving him to build a team around him and Bijan and whoever else next season. But I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to give Penix his reps. Maybe they see something in him in practice over the last couple weeks, and they want to give it a try.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing I could think other than just trying to keep him healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing, too, is that there's lots of divisional games coming up. So there's lots of I have a lot of faith in the Steelers' backfield because of the volume that they get. Mm-hmm. So I think coming off against that nasty Philly D, I think Najee struggled a lot there. But I bet you hands down that he comes back and has, he's not having phenomenal games, but he's going to have fantasy relevant games going forward for sure. Serviceable playoff numbers, RB2, RB3, flex, radar for sure.
Yeah.
Warren, no. He used to be that guy, and they used to split to get enough, but he hasn't been getting enough, and it's just not worth it for me at this point. So, yeah, Warren is out on my list, but Najee's still good to go.
Dang, that's crazy. One would have thought it would have been Warren by the end of the season.
I know, yeah, you and I both. Najee had that step-up game, gave Tomlin some hope.
Yeah, it was that like 2-3 games ago. Kind of like the same thing that happened in Carolina too with Chuba and Jonathan Brooks.
Mm-hmm. Chuba's getting crazy numbers now.
Yeah, he's getting paid like it too.
He's catching that ball like it's his dang job and a half, man. And he's doing great. I love it. I don't know where all that was back when I had him as a handcuff for Christian McCaffrey, and he was getting nothing going. And all of a sudden, McCaffrey left, and he turned into a baller.
Right. So I'm looking at this here. Browns are going to start Dorian Thomas-Robinson. Does that change any outlook on players like Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah.
It does.
Absolutely. I mean, you hadn't heard anything about any of these guys before Jameis Winston took over and they started to have these great games. So if that's going to be the case, automatically I'm going back. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's as good as he is. He needs a good quarterback to be the caliber wide receiver that he is. Now, Jameis is that caliber quarterback 80% of the time. That other 20, he's throwing picks and he's getting hurried and everything. But that has to do with the rest of the team as well. But he makes smart decisions and he's accurate to the extent he can huck that ball, man. And obviously, he had a good rapport with those receivers. And
because he got some yards. He got the ball to him.
It was consistent for the last 3 weeks, for the Broncos and everybody going. I mean, so, yeah, I think you know, they're not going to have phenomenal games. It definitely drops their ceiling. Probably keep their floor the same, but yeah, it drops the ceiling significantly for me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. See?
What's that?
These are probably guys that just got picked up off the wire where guys are going into week 16 that, you know, they're good to go. And then now all of a sudden, you know,
well,
that's why
Jerry Judy just had like a 25-point game last week, you know, so I'm sure people were firing him up for sure. And now it's like, do I want to play Juwan Jennings? I don't know.
Juwan Jennings.
No Juwan Jennings. You're out on Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, it's week 16. That's a risk I'm not taking. Not with Garendo being healthy now and the matchup being what it is, and Debo still getting starting, you know. He's still going to be the number one target.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like you said with Garendo, keeping it going.
Yeah, Garendo 100% definite fire up this week.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with Brock Purdy. I don't know.
Don't matter. As long as he gets that ball to Garendo, I don't care.
Yeah. The Titans are benching Will Levis. You looking at players like Calvin Ridley or who's their other wide receiver?
Nope, not guys I have stock in.
Yeah.
For that reason, but yeah, I mean, I need to see more consistency for me to be comfortable enough to start those kind of guys, you know, because that's the either goose egg or 20-point guy, you know, or like, you know, 2.3, 2.8 guy or 30-point guy. You know, he either gets targeted barely at all and the game plan goes to crap, or, you know, it's just they're on all game. But I don't like any of their matchups going forward. Them or Jacksonville, or, you know, I keep an eye on some of those underdog teams that kind of put up from week to week and have some guys to look at. But there's not really a wide receiver on that team, maybe besides him, that I would even come close to looking at.
I got one. Who would you start? Jaden Daniels versus the Eagles or Aaron Rodgers versus the Rams?
I'd have to go with man. I'm just gonna go. I'll go with the hot hand and go with the Jets and Rodgers. And Devontae did.
Oh man, kind of hard to go against Jaden Daniels. I feel like he goes off.
Well, and that's the thing is that they can't really compare the two. Like he's just consistent, and McLaurin is too. Like,
but when they played the Eagles, when they played the Eagles last time, Jaden Daniels was not that good.
Yeah, but that's because those divisional games that go one way, and that's kind of rough. But I don't know. Maybe this one's at home and they'll show out.
Yeah. So you say Aaron Rodgers over Jaden Daniels? Aaron Rodgers versus the Rams. I can see that being a shootout too. I mean, you know, Rams defense isn't all there either, so I could see that being a shootout game.
Yeah, there's like pieces of it that are okay, but yeah, it's definitely they're going to be able to sling.
Yeah. Speaking of Rodgers, so okay, let's say you got Pat Mahomes, and he went down. He's going to be out this week for sure. Are you picking up Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson, or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
Probably Aaron Rodgers again, right? He's probably. Yeah. I mean, Russ probably will have a bounce back week. I think. Is Pickens still out?
Who?
Is George Pickens?
Yeah.
Is he still out?
Well, he's not. He's got a projection next to, you know, for his numbers.
Yeah.
But he's still listed as out.
Yeah.
Hopefully that might change. Or he's still listed as questionable, not out. So he still has an injury designation, but he's not necessarily 100% out.
Yeah. I got one. Marvin Harrison versus Carolina or Calvin Ridley?
Oh, man. I got to go with Calvin Ridley on that one just because. I have to go with Calvin Ridley. Marvin Harrison has shown me nothing. Calvin Ridley has shown at least something.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison had one good blowout standout game.
That's it.
It's not. It's been all James Conner over there, and that's just that's it for me.
Is that Cambria?
But, yeah.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, Uncle Jim.
Yeah, I see you've been giving your dad some tips, helping him out. We can't have that. What
are you
about
my daddy wins?
Right?
Are you my good luck charm?
Winning when it counts.
I'm joking. I'm going.
Who? Bo Nix or Caleb Williams?
Bo Nix
on a short week though, after a 3-interception game.
I don't care. Bo Nix.
Yeah. That's crazy how that's changed, right? That changed pretty quick. Yeah.
I mean, Caleb Williams is just inconsistent. Keenan Allen he's a great receiver. And DJ Moore is too. And they bail him out so much. And I mean, their run game isn't much, but they get it done. They get first downs when they need it. But I don't know, man. I think Williams has a long way to come.
Yeah. So which one of you?
I like Bo Nix on a short week versus the Chargers in a divisional game anyway.
Yeah, on a divisional game, especially coming off a not so good game.
Thursday night.
Yeah, you come out there running. Hopefully it looks like that Tampa Bay game. I tell you what. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they pull out a nice one.
I think this will be a good week because some teams have to win. Some teams are trying to get positioning still. There's no bye weeks. There's no reason to rest anyone. You still got 2 more weeks left to rest people. I think it'll be a really good week scoring all around.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about it last show divisionally about the Steelers and everything, but it doesn't even matter about Baltimore. They clinched the berth already.
Yeah, that was it. They clinched the berth last week.
So being in third place was enough to do it. Now if they beat Baltimore, they're still number 1 of the division anyway, but they already have the berth. So,
but they can still sneak in and jump up above Buffalo and even sneak above the Chiefs, who now looks a lot different with Pat Mahomes being out this next week and possibly beyond. Because that's 3 games, and I think aren't they like 3 games behind the Chiefs? I think so. Well, Chiefs are what 12-1, and
we're 10-4.
Yeah, so you're 3 games behind them, which if they lose the next 3 games, they play the Broncos. I think they play another AFC. I think they play at least 2 AFC games, so that'd be wild.
Yeah, it's like all division games towards the end of the season like this with like one other random matchup.
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, you guys could even go higher.
Yeah.
We'll see how likely that is. I mean, yeah, but there's that
these are
possibility.
guys that already clinched as well, so it's just a matter of seeding by the time we get up there. So
yeah, and it doesn't really matter outside of 1. That's only bye week. Outside of that, you're still at home.
Yeah, home field advantage would be real nice too.
Yeah. Well, you guys got that. You got that taking your division, right? Or you just clinched playoff. You just clinched playoff, not the division.
No, we just clinched the berth. We didn't. Yeah. We don't got home field yet.
Yeah. See, the Broncos, we can still lose this game and we pretty much clinch, but I think it's still like some wild things that can happen.
Right. There's always scenarios.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, man. Here, let's take this. I want to do the wanted promo so I can get that in there for sure.
Cool.
And then we come back, we can talk about these games, talk about some games and get it moving.
Sounds good. Stick with us, y'all. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. You heard them. True crime fans, I have a podcast you need to check out. Wanted. That's right. Wanted. Hosted by A.C. Roberts. This takes you into the darkest corners of unsolved history. Each episode dives deep into the chilling cases of killers who vanished into thin air. Some you've heard of, and some you haven't. Imagine the terror of the Texarkana Moonlight Murders, or the mysterious legends of the Bloody Benders still haunting Kansas. AC doesn't just tell you what happened. She immerses you in it, taking you step by step through each unsolved case in a gripping, storytelling style atmosphere. So if you are ready to explore killers who got away, search for Wanted on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you listen to podcasts. That's right, Wanted. WANTED on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And then go follow them on Instagram at _wanted_podcast. That's THE_WANTED_PODCAST. Again, Wanted, hosted by AC Roberts, everywhere you listen to podcasts. Yes, y'all. Go check out Wanted for all your true crime fix. If you want to, hear some unsolved mysteries, that's a great podcast. Check it out on all your podcast network. So yeah, we figured we kind of preview some of these games really quick. Well, the Broncos and the Steelers games, and then I guess we can, if we don't have anything else, any questions, then we can call it after that. Does that sound good to you there, Shawnee?
Let's roll.
All right, so we got the Broncos game on Thursday night, Broncos Chargers. Probably the biggest game of the Broncos season, which is awesome because we wanted to be playing meaningful games in December. I think we just even wanted to be playing meaningful games or just being in the game, and the season kind of sped up the timeline a lot. Like I think they're a lot farther ahead than where everybody expected the Broncos to be.
Oh yeah.
But man, going into this game is for the playoffs. It's for all the marbles. Not even for the playoffs. It's for I guess it is. We're both kind of in the playoffs, but maybe a playoff preview. I don't even know. But it's a big game on both sides from both teams that weren't expected to be this far along this time of the season. And the Broncos have done it all without a running game, which is kind of weird, kind of odd. But yeah, man, we haven't had a running game. I don't think there's really too much. Well, on the Chargers side, there's kind of some fantasy relevancy. Ladd McConkey, I think you definitely want to fire him up as a flex or a second wide receiver. I've been pretty confident in firing him up. For the most part. I mean, I guess in that sense, Cortland Sutton too. That would be probably aside from the quarterbacks, that'd probably be the only other players I'd look at.
Yeah. You're not looking at either backfield. No Gus Edwards, no Javonte, no Jaleel, no Audric, no. And I don't know, no Quentin Johnston, maybe Ladd, like you said.
Watch, it's going to be a big running game for the Broncos. And Javonte is going to have like 70 yards and a tutty. Estimate is going to have like 125. If
anybody's capable of doing it, it's him. For God's sake, dude. You're
they
a
just
monster.
Can't get started.
If they can keep the momentum rolling in that direction and get, once they start it, then yeah, that's all it takes. But they got to start it.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't seem like they've been wanting to do that too much this season. They're 20th in rushing yards per game. But I mean, the Chargers are 22nd in rushing yards per game. Their running game hasn't been there either. It's probably like they're two pretty similar teams, quite honestly.
Yeah, they do.
And how they're built and what they're doing, how they're moving. And it has to do a lot with their quarterbacks being able to make some magic happen every once in a while, which it's been really, really fortunate. I feel like we've been fortunate to have Bo Nix, man. We haven't had that since, since like Peyton Manning.
Yeah, it's true.
It's freaking wild. So, yeah, we got that game on Thursday night. It's a Thursday night game as well, too. So, I probably wouldn't fire up any of these guys because, Thursday night games from not top-tier teams doesn't turn out to be the best game.
Tell him.
Yeah. Cat's yelling at me. Chip,
I hear him.
Where's your malfunction, bro? I just fed him before I started the show. Anyway, yeah, so I got the Broncos winning this game. It's gonna be a slugfest though, an AFC slug or not, I think. I think it's gonna be a really slow game and a couple of big plays here and there and then a lot of defense. But I got the Broncos pulling it out. Pat Surtain is questionable. He should be in.
I hope so for your guys' sake.
Yeah, he was listed as a full participant yesterday in practice. They were even saying they could bring Riley Moss back, so I think it might be a little early, but he should definitely be back the week after. And then Jaleel McLaughlin probably be out. He's questionable. But yeah, I got the Broncos pulling this off. You got any thoughts in this game?
No, same as you. I got the Broncos pulling it out. No fantasy relevance really, unless somebody like Devontae steps it up. Maybe Knicks, but yeah, other than that.
Yeah. Then moving on to Sunday, we got the Steelers versus the Ravens, another divisional game. And it's the AFC North, so we know it's about to be a slugfest.
Oh yes. Yeah, this is a big one. It's always a big shootout between the two of us. Lots and lots of, you got Lamar, who's been on fire lately. Russell, who's been playing really well. I mean, then you got the King in the backfield for him, who hasn't been crazy good of late, but still obviously awesome. Rashad Bateman is somebody that I'm putting a lot more stock in, even more so than maybe Flowers, even though, he's that number one guy, but go to. If Pickens is back in, I'm confident that he and Tomlin wouldn't put him back in and start him unless they were confident. So Pickens is back in and he's back in your lineup. Baltimore secondary is good, but they're not the best. They have better linebackers. They're better at the pass rush than they are defending passes. And they have let up some touchdowns this season. Also, I think Najee, he's done it before. He can do it again against them. I think he does have a decent game. But I do think that they split between him and Warren because they're going to be doing a lot of running. So I don't know how confident I am beyond like an RB2 flex for Najee, and not firing up Warren. So I have the Steelers winning, same as we did against them last time. Just a shootout. Lots of heavy defense. Hopefully Watt can come in and play. If not, Hayward, he goes up. Queen's been playing really great lately on defense. We got some good corners, so it's we got to keep Henry in check and then play that pass, and then we'll be all right. We've done it before, don't you know? We'll do it again.
Would you be confident firing up the Steelers defense?
That's one where there's definitely higher scoring options. There's definitely defenses on the waiver wire this week. Like anybody who plays the Giants, the Jags, the Titans, those are the guys you're going to want to grab this week. The Steelers are good, but consistent. I think they're better for IDP this week than they are as a whole. But I mean, the Steelers defense in general, I never dog on them. They're never a slouch, but I can see that the Ravens keeping this game interesting. They're not just going to get slapped around. So I can see them getting enough yards and points to drag that score down to where you could definitely get something higher from somebody else.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, I'd probably even look at maybe even the Ravens defense, quite honestly.
I would say at this point, Colts, Atlanta, even the Raiders, these are all guys that are pretty high on my waiver wire pickups for the week.
Okay.
What about chicken?
Okay.
The Bills defense didn't do big. We're not talking about the Vikings yet, honey. Estella is her favorite player's Justin Jefferson, so she's always asking me what's going on with Jay Jettis.
With the Vikings, did you see that? I just shared that. There was a picture in Sleeper. I shared it in the group chat. It was like on one side it was like the Lions having the best season of their career at 11-2, and then you got the Vikings going through a rebuild with Sam Darnold, same record.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously, man, they're coaching him well, and Addison stepping up. It's been really great to watch, man.
What about that game? I guess even before we get out of here, Vikings and the Seahawks. I mean,
well, with Geno down,
and
who is it at their backup? Desmond Ridder, or no? What is it?
Shipman. Will Shipley? Here, I'll look it up. I was just looking at it. Geno Smith. he's able to practice. It looks like.
I pray to God he
most of the
plays, because if
reps.
not, there's some trouble coming out of that.
Yeah. Sam Howell, that's his backup.
Howell, that's it.
Yeah, from Washington. But yeah, no, it says he got some good news. His tests were positive. Performance right knee were positive, and the Seahawks hope to see him practice throughout the week. So,
oh my God, that'd be great, because then I can have confidence in JSN.
Yeah, I was gonna say JSN and Metcalf or Jefferson and Addison and Jefferson. Who are you going with?
I mean, I don't. I have
if
Jefferson
Geno's
and
playing.
I have Jefferson and Addison and Darnold together in one league.
Yeah.
So I fire them all up.
Yeah.
And then I have JSN in our league, and I always fire him up. If I had to pick between any of them, it's going to be Addison or Jefferson, obviously, all day.
Yeah.
The volume is just too crazy, and the connection between them and Darnold is just insane. It's always there. They're, secondary proof, and they have the chemistry.
Looks like Kenny Walker is going to be TBD for Week 16, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people waiting for him to come back. I'm a guy who doesn't have any stock of him, but if he doesn't play, obviously Charbonnet is a must start.
Charbonnet hasn't done, he hasn't looked bad.
No, not at all. He's definitely serviceable.
He went off in that Cardinals game, but he's been serviceable throughout the season. Every time he's had to start, for sure. Who are you going for in that game? Who do you think? If Geno Smith is playing, I guess it makes all the difference too.
Yeah. I mean, even if Smith plays, I still have the Vikings pulling this out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shoot, man. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on tonight? I think we got through some pretty good stuff with the injuries and just kind of touching on some draft strategies or some playoff strategies.
We kind of touched on everything I wanted to. My rankings for this week going forward will be on the Shady Sports Network Facebook page. If you have any questions or need any help, want to chat with any of us, you guys know how to get a hold of us. Justin on Twitch, and he's streaming over there. Facebook, Insta, any of the social media apps, any of those, you guys can get a hold of us anyway. We're going into week 16, so either it's your semifinal round or it's your combined championship round. So this is the time where you want your best in there. So if you guys have any questions about setting lineups or maybe who to grab from the wire, maybe plug in for an injury, we're always here to help you guys. We're always here, man. And we want you guys to do the best you can, pull that championship, take it home, win that dough, and and best of luck to your teams going into the playoffs too.
Definitely. Yes. Congratulations to all of you that moved on in your leagues, and best of luck to you moving forward. I mean, you're almost there. A couple more weeks left, or a week left, depending on how your leagues are set up. So, just stay in it to win it and keep it going. And we're always playing to win too, right?
Bro.
Like Shawnee said, you can join the group. Check that. The link's down below us, scrolling at the bottom. It's also in the description as well too. And then we also have the fantasy football league, the basketball league, and then a couple other links down there in the description. So guys, thanks for joining in with us tonight. It's been fun. It's been real. Always fun having Shawnee, having you guys on. So always fun. If nothing else though,
we appreciate y'all.
You guys, you want to say anything? Is that Estrella?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm getting it. I got it. You know what I mean? I've been kind of slowing down on the blazing, so it's been helping with the memory.
Uncle Jim got it.
Yeah.
Go Jay Jettis.
Go who?
Jay Jettis.
Jay Jettis.
I'm Sasper, I told you. See gritties all over the house and shit.
Bro, it just reminds me how old I'm getting every single day watching these kids, man. They got that flavor.
I was just doing the gritty.
Oh, boy.
I can't even do the gritty.
Oh, you hurt me. Stop it. You're hurting.
But thank you. Good luck, guys, in your playoffs. Tune in with us and join in. on the Facebook group. Check out Shawnee's rankings on there. And if you have any questions or who to start or whatever, you can jump on there. And we're always happy to jump in and chat with you there as well. And there's a group chat in it too. So if you join the group, you can join the Shady Sports Fantasy Reports chat and just have instant access to it. So as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Look out for us Sunday night. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Same place, doing it how we do. And in the meantime, check out Thursday too. There's the Dynasty Football, show that we have. So if you want to talk Dynasty Immortals IDP plays that Shawnee was talking on, you can catch that on Thursday night.
It's a good show, guys. You should check it out.
Yes, y'all. Definitely check it out. So it's been real, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great night.
Peace.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.